This video will show you how to complete the Eclipse raid in Allods completely solo, which gives quest completion, various costumes, and a bigger bag on the subscription server. You need to actually be in a raid to enter the Eclipse area, so head to any group instance. I chose TT and ASCIITF. Summon the mercenary NPC and hire any of them. Then right-click your character plate and create a raid. You can also just use a friend to do this, but mercenaries work for true soloing. Leave the group zone and head to Umor Upper City, then head to the tower, and finally into the raid zone. The first boss is no trouble at all, dying in a shot or two, and then talking to this guy will start the next boss. This is where many people trying to beat this raid without help run into issues. When the fight starts, he'll have two of his large tentacles grabbing the ship to your left and right. Kill them first, and then kill any mobs that spawn. You won't be able to damage him directly just yet. Make your way to the front of the ship, and then use the jump pad once it becomes operational. If you're an engineer, leave a turret here. If you're another class, just put a damage over time effect on the boss. Teleport back to the ship, then head right up to the edge. Use the context action to start flying near the boss. The two buttons on the right control your heat. Make sure to keep it within 10 to 100 or whatever numbers your screen tells you. Watch your buff bar for one of the symbols from the buttons on the left to pop up, and then press the one that comes up as soon as possible. If done correctly at a high enough level, this will pop his shield instantly, and then he'll die from the damage you did before. If you didn't have a damage over time spell or a turret to put next to his head, just finish the flying segment and run over to the jump pad as fast as you can to get the damage in before he gets his invulnerability back. Next up is a much more tedious fight, the assault level. For this level, your goal is to take the health of the Eclipse's shield down to 0% by shooting these cannons. They do have a catch, however. Their abilities have cooldowns, and if you stay on a cannon for more than any amount of time, you'll start getting stacks of the exhaustion buff. If this reaches 100, you'll automatically die no matter what. If you're quick enough though, you can go from cannon to cannon, pressing the heavy attack button and then the escape key over and over again. That way you won't accumulate any exhaustion, and if done right, you'll still do fairly decent damage to the shield. If you do manage to get up to nearing 100 stacks, just wait it out for a minute and it'll go away. You can completely ignore the fire mechanic, it won't do enough damage to kill you. The only other worry you'll have is the archer mobs that can spawn. They have an attack that does a percentage of your health, and sometimes it'll one-shot you if you get hit wrong, even at level 95. You'll know they're coming by a white ring showing up around the 4 corners of the deck and 2 in the middle. Take a break from the cannons when they show up, or you may regret it. After the long process of whittling down the ship's health, you'll have one major obstacle left, boarding the ship. For this section, you just use the context button to jump from platform to platform, alternating based on which side has magic coming. Do not try to jump over the spells like I did. You'll have to do the entire cannon segment again if you fall, and that's not very fun. Once you're over, just one-shot the boss and open the chest for a costume. Head down the hall and clear the mobs, then head below deck for the next bosses. Just do a bit of AoE damage and then damage the one you're able to, and this fight is over in literally no time. Then a short walk later, the next boss is also an easy one-shot. Grab the chest for this guy for another costume. Talk to this dude to teleport back, then head to the upper deck. Fight through the mobs and initiate the next boss battle by talking to this guy. He's also easy peasy. Next up, choose the third option down for this dialogue and you'll start the next boss instantly. He also has no fight mechanics worth mentioning, but he does have a chest. Head up the stairs to the next set of bosses. Slay a dragon, then kill the guy. Simple stuff. talk to this fella and pick the third option to start the next fight. For this fight, you'll need to kill the main boss, then the two guys on the side here and here, then enter the portals and destroy the mini bosses inside both of them. Make sure you grab this chest for a costume, and finally talk to the guy on the right to enter the final boss room. I don't actually totally understand the mechanics to this fight completely, but being level 95, it doesn't actually matter. The first step is simple, you just DPS her down like any other boss, but then she gains a shield and she won't be able to take any damage. If you just walk around and don't kill yourself on the circles, she'll make her way across the room. Then she does some sort of explosion, and you're able to damage her once again. This triggers a mini cutscene. Surprise, surprise, God's meddling in man's affairs yet again. A little more DPS, a cutscene, and then some more DPS will finish the entire raid for you. Open the chest for a costume, mount, and a 54 slot bag. It's worth running this twice, as you can hand in a second backpack for an 144 slot bank. You do have to wait a week though. That's the end of the video. Hope you found it helpful. See ya.